Hello, everybody. My name is Kashawn Hopkins. I'm an instructional technology specialist from Oklahoma Public School Resource Center. And today we're going to revisit Flipgrid again. There's a lot more for me to talk about, in particular, the integrations that have with Flipgrid, different places where you could put it and places where you could take it and export it out. So there's lots of fun little ways that you can use it with other tools that you might already be using already. So we're going to dive into a bit of that. But first, I'm joined here with my colleague. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Kurt Bernhardt. I'm the Director of Technology for OPSRC, and Kashawn and I make up the tech team. So anything you need regarding technology, just contact us.
And you could do so through techteam@opsrc.net, have it right up there. If you need the slides, if you're following along, or if you want to follow along, I have it over here. These are case sensitive, so I'll copy these and I'll read them out real quick. It's lowercase t, period, ly, / lowercase g, uppercase y, 6, and then lowercase g again. So fantastic, you got it there. And in fact, if you're watching the recording as well, you can also get access to it through opsrc.net / tech talks. Over here, just to showcase a little bit of this, we got the upcoming Tech Talks on here. We got Nearpod in here next week. Very excited about that. We have Suggest a Future Tech Tool. So if you don't see a tool that's on here and you would love to see it on here, go ahead and give us a shout out there. And then finally, Archived Tech Talks down here. We have lots of little goodies, starting from Adobe Stark Post in February 4th, going all the way down to Seesaw 2 in August 5th. So lots of things to choose from and for you to look through. In particular, our one from Flipgrid from before. So if you're joining us here for this particular Tech Talk, I recommend that if you have no experience with it at all, you go ahead and check out that recording. We got the video, we got the slides on there for you to enjoy. But also on top of that, if you just kind of have the basics, if you already use it in your classroom, this is probably another way to just extend your different uses, just kind of expand on the things that you're already using. And maybe you'll use some tools that you haven't heard of before. So this particular Tech Talk, I'm going to have a little bit of a rapid fire round at the very end of it, a little bit different from the ones that I do from before, because it connects to a bunch of tools that I have talked about. So Google Classroom, Book Creator, YouTube, Wakelet, Nearpod. I will be showcasing those really super quick, kind of as like a sort of mini sequel to all of them in a way. So if you haven't heard about them, there's a Tech Talk forum. But I want to jump into some Flipgrid stuff. So let me jump into Flipgrid. Last time I had a video example when I first talked about it. I'm giving another update to that sort of. This is a video that I did with Lexington way back, not too, just a little bit earlier this month that I would like to show real quick. Hello, my name is Kashawn Hopkins. I'm an instructional technology specialist from Oklahoma Public School Resource Center, and I'm trying to give an example on how to use Flipgrid to our friends at Lexington. This year, I guess you could consider me, I'm a teacher of teachers. I've been teaching academic technology for quite some time, ever since I started doing it for the IT department at the University of Oklahoma. And one thing that I'm looking forward to this year is getting to know the Oklahoma Public School Resource members. I just started about a year and a half ago, and I feel like I still don't know them very well because I've just been working on little projects here and there for OPSRC. And one kind of takeaway that I'm hoping that you're getting out of this is that, your recordings don't have to be perfect. You could hear me stutter on my words. You heard my notification go off. There is a retake button, which, full disclosure, I've used a few times, and that's fine. I know it's weird recording yourself on the video, but sometimes you just have to embrace the flaws that come with this to let the students know that they don't have to repeat this 1,000 times. Don't waste your time trying to do a bunch of takes. Maybe do a few, one or two, just to kind of get used to it. But just go for it whenever you do this. Feel free to take that risk. All right, I'm out of time. All right, cool. So this involves me using kind of two integrations here whenever I was creating it. First of which is the insert tool in Google Slides. I went to the top left-hand corner. If you click on insert, then you go down to video. Because something that Flipgrid allows you to do is download a copy from any video that you create on there. So, and then you can either put it on, host it on YouTube, which I'll show you in a bit. You could paste the YouTube URL there, or you could search for it, or you could go into Google Drive if you have a copy of it. There's me, yay, fantastic. And all the little videos that I have that are ripped and ready down over there. So fantastic stuff. And when you can do that, you get a little embedded business going on here. Also on top of that, because I enjoy little redundancies whenever I'm designing stuff like this, when I'm trying to present and give it out to people, I have not only the embedded link, but I also have the direct link as well on Flipgrid, because every single video has a unique URL attached to it. So you can put it in places, websites, messengers, all that. It's so easy to share out your videos. And the great thing about it is you don't need to have a Flipgrid account to access this. Uh-oh, I deleted this thing. Oh no, that's not great where this originally came from. That's fine. But at the very least, I have the video on here. Fantastic. But I think you get the idea that you're able to take those URLs and place them, and put them in places. So you don't need an account for people to view at the very least. Okay, schedule, just super quick, just so you have an idea of how this time is going to be used here. I'd already did my introduction. Next, I'm going to go into a little bit on why I've picked this tool, sort of to revisit and why I did it originally. I don't think I gave, I gave a little bit of a rationalization. I think it's a great tool, and I showed off a couple of features, but I also want to add some ISTE standards in there as well. I'm going to answer some questions about Flipgrid. I'm going to do an updated version for this particular Tech Talk, and I'm going to do a little bit of tool showcase. So I'm going to spend a majority of my time kind of showing off either new features or things I didn't get a chance to talk about, or the other integrations from the other tools. And then finally wrap up my Tech Talks, how I usually do, just share out some of the goodies, my updated pages there, share a link to the evaluation, and answer any questions you might have. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump in. First of all, what are we learning? After this training, teachers will be able to integrate Flipgrid into their classroom to build a digital community that will support students achieving their learning goals down over here. So something I think Flipgrid does really well that I feel like is hard to take advantage of in kind of like a traditional classroom sense, where it's like a teacher-driven type lesson, or just an environment where the teacher is typically giving out lessons here, is the fact that this puts a tool into the student's hand. This tool cannot work without having other people participate in here. And I'm just imagining a scenario where, you're creating this space where everyone is contributing to the topic. You're setting that expectation that everybody has to contribute in some way, and they're just kind of forming their own thoughts and then putting some of that words out there. And, the usual way of doing it is like, show of hands, can someone say something about this thing that I just said in my classroom? But in this case, they're able to contribute their own space. They have their own little 90 seconds where they're able to form their thoughts, present their ideas, and just try to have, something that's personal to them come out in their digital identity there. So that's why I always try to push this tool over here. That's why I think it's so fantastic. Another question to take a look at is how to integrate technology. I know I usually always talk about the SAMR model. I do love it. It's a popular model on here, but there's other ones here as well that I've started to link and talk a little bit more about. We got the TPAC model in here, and the technology integration matrix. And I've decided that I'm going to focus a little bit on that technology integration matrix on here. This is made by Florida State. I believe I want to make sure, yeah, I'm really certain it's Florida State. Yeah. But the idea, the reason why I really like this framework, I'm just making sure, Florida Center for Instructional Technology. Yeah, that's more accurate. But the reason why I like this model is the fact that it has different tiers to it and has resources and descriptors for every tier inside of it. What I mean by that is we have like different levels of how integrated the technology is, starting from entry, going to transformative, and you have different modes of technology use here. You can use it to make sure that students are more active, you make students are collaborating with each other, and so forth. And you can take each one of these rows and align it with a column and get just a different level of technology integration. So like, for example, if I was looking through these and I want to make sure that my technology is goal oriented at kind of a high level. And let's look at, let's say I think I'm at an adoption level and I want to go to an adaptation level. So I'm going to go to that row and that column and look, and says purposeful use of tools to plan and monitor some student choice and exploration. And I can click on that box. And not only that I have descriptors of what it looked like for students, but as descriptions for the teacher and particular settings, and also video lesson samples and related resources. So this is really well built out, and there's more resources beyond this as well. And so this place is just worth exploring, I think, if you have an opportunity. All right. Next is why use this tool, a little bit of an extra rationalization why I think this tool is amazing. And you know, should give it a shot if you haven't done so already, or maybe if you need some rationalization on how you're using the tool. I use the ISTE student standards here. I think it is a great way to build digital citizenship. Like I said before, you're kind of building that digital identity there. You're having them post post themselves out there, and it's kind of personal. That's part of the reason why I think it's so weird to people when they're recording themselves on the video, because they have that realization of like, I'm going to be putting something out there, even though we do it kind of all the time, every time we speak up and we have a conversation on there. So it's just getting them that practice there. Next, that goes kind of hand in hand with that, is creative communicator. They're publishing their own work. They're putting their names to it. They're exposing it to other people to get feedback. So there's just more opportunities to do that. And also on top of that, one of the big things in the global collaborator section is the fact that they get to take a look at an issue from so many different viewpoints. People, students in particular, always bring their own experience, their own personal backgrounds into school and class and the way that they do things. So when they have this opportunity to express themselves, to share about their lives, to bring in their own unique perspective, we'll be able to get a better idea on the different views on a particular issue. So yeah, just different ways to look at for the tool. All right, Flipgrid, you probably already know what it is by now already. I do have a lovely definition up there. A few extra things that it can do for your classroom, some things that I want to try to touch on in the showcase. If you haven't seen the discovery library in there, it is worth its weight in gold in there. Take a look at it. We're going to be doing that in a minute. Being able to share things through QR codes, so just bringing a bit of that digital world into the physical world. On there, we got the Immersive Reader. I didn't get a chance to talk about that before, but I'm definitely going to do it this time. I love that part of the tool. Next is the lots of different third-party integrations that I've mentioned before as well. And of course, if you want to access this tool, you go to flipgrid.com. In fact, I already have a couple of windows open at the top of my screen here, so let's peruse here. I did a little bit of pruning from last time, which is why I lost that link, I think, but it's all right. It's easy to replace here. So I'm already logged in the Flipgrid. One quick thing, I don't think I had mentioned, I created a topic, but I don't think I created any groups on here. So I'm going to go to the top right hand corner and click that blue button that says group there. And this is how you can essentially set up your classroom here. I set up a topic based off of emails, domains, usernames, all that. But something that you can do that is real fantastic is it already has an integration for you to take your Google Classroom roster and upload it into here. So getting started with Flipgrid is so easy now, especially if you've already have Google Classroom at your fingertips there. So you don't need anything extra. Students can use their same credentials to log in. You just go in here. It'll probably ask you a question about permissions there, but as soon as you allow that, you can select your classroom and it'll upload that right there. And you can click create group. And then boom, it's already done for you. You have your group link there, or you could click the Google Classroom button and push that out to your classroom. So your students don't even really have to navigate to the website. They can just do it through this as well. Something that I can't show on here, but something I do want to mention is the fact that Flipgrid does have a very fantastic app. I mean, you could use your phone as a camera. or you could use this through Chromebook. I just want to remind everybody you can use iPad as well. So there's lots of different ways that you can access this stuff here. All right, let's see what else we got here that is new. Top right-hand corner, I'm going to click on that discovery section that I mentioned earlier. Discovery section is where you can pull topics that have been created by either other people, or you could do it through companies that have created. So you see that Flipgrid has created this. We got the ESL library in there, great content, and you can scroll through and search different, you can search it by subject, you can search it by company on here, or creators that are common creators on here, or you could just look through here. So there's lots of different options on here. So let's go with this back to school one. That looks pretty good. So let me click on that. Let me see what options we have. Goal setting, that's cool. So I see who the creator is. I see the subject, the community, how much engagement they've gotten out of it. Let's go into that. So you have an idea of what this topic looks like. We have all the information on the left-hand side and a couple of the basic setting stuff on the right-hand side. And if I feel like this is a great topic for my classroom, I can just go down here, bottom right-hand corner, and click add a topic, click add to my groups, or create a new group. That's fine based on that. And then I could select any group that I've created before and click save to a group. And there we go. We have a nice little topic. I didn't have to really do all that much except find the right one. Now, while I am here, also, I would love to show off the Immersive Reader, bottom left-hand corner over here. If you see that little open paged book with a little sound symbol, you can click on that. And what's really nice about the Immersive Reader, because this is a tool that your students can use, is that it'll read the tool to, it'll read the text for the topic to your student, trying to make this tool as accessible as possible. So if I click the play button in the middle of my screen,
the beginning of the school year is a great time to set new goals for yourself.
Fantastic stuff. You can get an idea. And even for the students that have, you know, their English might not be their first language, they can click on any of these words and they can listen to it themselves.
Yourself.
Fantastic. Also, you can adjust the voice settings a little bit. You have right next to the play button some voice settings. You can either slow it down, speed it up, or change it just a little bit there. We have some other cool preferences and settings on the top right-hand corner. If I click the text preferences, I can adjust the text size there, making it a little bit easier. I can adjust the font. You got a couple of basic theme and font choices there. You could go to grammar options, which is kind of nice if you want to focus on the text itself. So you can do things like highlight the nouns, highlight the verbs, the adjectives. So it's a fantastic way of doing that. Or, and this is the real kicker here, I think, under reading preferences, you got line focus. So you can focus on certain lines at a time while they're reading, which is really cool. But also you have a very lovely translate tool here. So you can switch the language on here. And so like if I wanted to switch this to Spanish real quick, I can do it by the word. So that means if I click on something, any one of these, it will have it in English and it will have it in Spanish, and it'll have a picture dictionary up there as well. Or I could switch it to the full document. Now, this isn't perfect. It's kind of like a Google translation in a way, but at the very least, it's pretty good because you can still click play.
El comienzo del año escolar es un buen momento para establecer nuevas metas para ti mismo.
And have a nice little translation there. How about that? So really cool stuff that you can do with this Immersive Reader, and pretty much a lot of Microsoft tools have this in it already. So you might see that little page with the sound symbol on it in different places. Go ahead and try to explore that stuff. Okay, I know for a fact it does work with Flipgrid, Wakelet, and Nearpod, which I'll show a little bit of that just in case. Ooh, one other thing, I feel like QR codes are a little overlooked in some places, and I think, and Flipgrid tries to highlight them a bit here. If we go to one of my groups, and I'm going to go on one of my topics that has responses in already, something that you can do is not only that you have unique links attached to every single one of the videos and your responses in your Flipgrid, but you can also click on where it says print QR codes, So I imagine maybe this topic is students introduce themselves, and then I print off QR codes and post them up on the board. So like when teachers or something, or we do like an open house, if you're allowed to do something like that in your school, you post it up there. Maybe like you'll have a picture of the student or something, and have them just introduce themselves through a video, something that's really cool that just brings the technology to the people. And all they really need is a way to scan QR codes, which typically comes with phones anyways. They sometimes they bundle them with a camera, or you can get a really quick app or something like that, and you're off to the races here. It's fantastic stuff here. So just want to point that out. Really great stuff. Just some more features to take advantage of inside of Flipgrid if you haven't already. Okay, so here is a little bit of a rapid fire section of this particular tech talk. So I'm going to go through a couple of different tools and ways that Flipgrid interacts with them. Starting with, if you ever want to download a copy of any videos, you can always go to the topic, go to the bottom right-hand corner and click on where it says those three dots over here. And one of your options is download video. What it will do is create an MP4 if you click download video, and you got a little copy of it over there. And what I can do is upload it into places like Google Drive, or I can go to YouTube, for example. Go to the top right-hand corner, click that little create symbol with the little camera with the plus symbol, click upload video. And then all I have to do from there is go over to where it says select files, click that and look for the file. Or I can take a file from a folder and just kind of drag it into that space. And when I let go, it will start uploading the video. So fantastic stuff, so easy to do. You can add a description, and then you can like put it together maybe in like a playlist for your group and then share it through that, no problem. That way you don't have to dig through Flipgrid. It's kind of all in one place if you're already using YouTube. Okay, so that's one example. Fantastic. We'll process that shortly. Great. Another example that I have is using the embed code on here. The example that I have here is Book Creator. If you're unfamiliar with it, you can create digital books on here, which is a fantastic tool as well. And whenever you're presenting it, you can flip through it like it's an actual book. So I'm going to play this real quick, and you can see it has this nice little digital animation, which is really nice. But I don't have any content on here. It's just an empty book. But let's say, for example, you want videos in your book, you know, something you couldn't do with a normal book. So I'm going to go to the top right-hand corner. I'm going to click on this plus symbol here. And under media, there is a import section here, very first option. Now you can pull in things like images, a Google map, some files, things from your drive. But there's a embed tab up here where you can pull things in like Google Forms, YouTube videos, Adobe Spark, files, sheets, and of course Flipgrid. But we need the embed code. So the way that we can get that is when we're in our topic, you click the share button. And don't forget, your share button works for pushing videos to Google Classroom. You can make QR codes from there, Microsoft Teams, Remind, Twitter, all that great stuff. But right now, I just need the one over here, the third one over, copy and embed code. It's going to say embed code copy to let me know we're good here. So next time I put paste, it'll paste a code out. This is great for not only Book Creator here, but it's also like if you're like hosting things on a website, or like if you're using Blogger, so all sorts of places where you can use this. And when I press confirm, it'll validate the link. I give it a little bit of title, so it has some kind of description on there. There I go, and click add. And there I go. Nice little video. So when someone is looking at my book here, they can click on that and they get the video. Great, it's me again. Awesome. I have so much footage of myself. Cool. So like, for example, you could have like, you know, the author open up the book in some way, kind of like that, like old school Disney, like narrator way of like opening to a story. Or maybe you could have like a very tasteful, like about me page at the very end of the book that the students can do. So they have a video at the top, a little text description below, and you just have them introduce the book like it's like a Harry Potter type situation where the book is reading out at you. So lots of great stuff there. All right, next, Wakelet. Sometimes they have things in the actual tool itself. So for those who are unfamiliar, Wakelet is a tool where you can pull together resources in sort of a collection. You can do things like paste web addresses in here. You can add text, images, bookmarks, upload PDFs on here. But of course, you can integrate some apps. So if I click on the app button, you have things like you can pull tweets from Twitter and add them into a collection, pull things from YouTube, Drive, OneDrive, but of course, we got Flipgrid, and I gotta turn off my camera for this to work. It gets mad at me if I try to do 2 camera sources at the same time, so you're not gonna see me for a moment, but don't fear. I will be back, I promise, because there I am. Hello, hi me. You can see my background now, woo. But you can record it directly on here, and then it becomes a part of your Wakelet collection. So you can do, I don't know, video diaries or something, maybe, or have students create their own collections where they talk about the resources themselves. So maybe you could have them introduce different resources on here through a video chat. So great stuff from Wakelet. And then finally, you know, you can get a lot of mileage just out of the URL itself. I'm on Flipgrid, which I will go more detail into Flipgrid next week, but the basic idea is that you can take PowerPoints, Google Slides, and you can insert bits of activity into them so that students are not only going through the presentation, they're also interacting with it in a bunch of different ways, like asking open-ended questions or doing polls, engaging with simulations, or creating Flipgrid videos. So they don't even have to travel to Flipgrid. What you can do is go to the topic section. You can right click, like highlight that entire address on there. You can right click and copy it, or Control C, if you're familiar with that stuff. Click on plus add new, click on the activities tab, and there is a Flipgrid button right over there. I can click on that. It will ask me for the topic URL from my browser, and you can even click the question mark just in case you need help finding it. But I can right click into that empty field there and tell it to paste. That way, when I add it in there, it will treat it as a little slide. So once students get to that slide, they can start recording their videos right then and there. So really easy to use, really easy to integrate in there, and just, you know, ties all of these tools together and just makes it just a little bit more functional. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for everybody that's listening at the moment. I really do appreciate you spending a little time letting me just I guess gush about Flipgrid. It's a cool tool. And so if you haven't used it, or if you don't know, if someone hasn't used it and you think it would be great for your classroom, give them a shout out, let them know. The resources out there and all the stuff is free, and it ties into other free tools as well. Okay, I have my updated goodies pages on here. The one big thing that I have on here is 20 apps that work with Flipgrid. I've only talked about like 5 or 6 of them. Someone has compiled a list of 20 of them. So if you want to see what other tools also work with Flipgrid, this is very much worth your time looking at. It's made by Merrill Tech on here. So yeah, if you recognize any of these icons on here, you might have a nice little Flipgrid integration that you can use. I know Seesaw is a big one down here that you could use. So take a look whenever you get a chance. Next, we have my updated technology integration page on here. We got the SAMR model stuff on here. We got TPAC on here. And of course, we got technology integration matrix. I think it's worth your time to take a look at those. And then finally, we have my last slide. As usual, big, huge thank you to everybody who's made it this far. I really do appreciate it. Please reach out to us at techteam@opsrc.net. But also, more importantly, not more importantly, same level of importance, I guess. Same ballpark. We have the evaluation. Please take a chance to go in there and to do this. Even if you're watching on the recording, you can still do the evaluation. Same link on all of the different technology pages. At least I hope so. By the time that you're looking at it, I don't know, it might be a few years from now that you're looking at it or something. Anyways, reading in this out, case sensitive, lowercase t, period, ly, / lowercase g, z as in zebra, uppercase K. You can get to that evaluation. It will not take long. It will help us tremendously. And yeah, I want to plug the TechTalk page again, opsrc.net//TechTalks, and you can get more of this, but for you and different tools. Okay, that is probably it for right now. I'll take questions at this point. Thank you so much, everybody.